A former Virginia Supreme Court justice addressed James Madison University students, faculty, and staff. Recently, Judge John Charles Thomas was a guest speaker during the Madison Vision series.
JMU as an educational institution is seeking to bring thought leaders to our community to explore important issues of our time. These events provide opportunities for all of us to reflect on how an informed and educated citizenry contributes to the health of our democracy.
JMU President Jonathan Alger introduced Judge Thomas, who retired from the bench in 1989.
In 1982, he was the first black lawyer in the history of the American South to become partner at a major law firm. In 1983, he was appointed to the Supreme Court of Virginia by then Governor Chuck Robb, becoming the first African American to hold this post. After 7 years of devout service to the Commonwealth of Virginia, he returned to practicing law at his old firm, now known as Hunton & Williams, LLP. In 1995, Justice Thomas was given the NAACP's Lifetime Image Award. After his Supreme Court years, Justice Thomas held a number of significant positions. Here's one that I think you'll find especially fascinating. In 2005, he was appointed to the International Court of Arbitration for Sports, which is based in Switzerland. It's a tough gig, but someone's got to do it. And it handles cases involving violations of the World Anti-Doping Code for all Olympic sports, the Tour de France, FIFA, and the LPGA. Justice Thomas also served on the Board of Visitors at the College of William & Mary and is a trustee emeritus of the Thomas Jefferson Foundation, which owns and operates Monticello, the home of that other president. An internationally recognized speaker, Justice Thomas has given presentations around the world at venues ranging from Dubrovnik, Croatia, to the U.S. Military Academy at West Point.
Justice Thomas told the crowd he came to encourage the JMU community. Thomas not only reflected on his accomplishments, but also shared how important it is to show others how to become successful.
It's my great pleasure to be with you here to talk about hope, the hope that inspires us.
He told the audience how a teacher embarrassed him in class.
I was going into high school, and there, one of the things that happened to me, I was in English class, and I submitted a poem, and the teacher threw it in my face and said, "I reject this. I do not believe a colored child could write this." I tell you that not to make you upset, but to make you understand that there are serious ups and downs in life, that the society that we have in Virginia has been seriously broken and fractured in the past, that the great hope that all of us have today and going forward is that we can at least teach our young people, our collegians, and anybody else who will listen, that there are ways to mend a broken society.
He says one of the ways he believes to repair the damage caused by racism, alcoholism, and poverty
is a message of hope. One of the questions that the reporters usually asked me along the way was, you come from a broken home where your daddy had been a convict and was an alcoholic, and you come from poverty and violence, and you've had people throw your poems in your face and others to say that you couldn't do this and you don't belong here and you don't belong there. And so now you are here and you're in the black robe sitting on the highest court in Virginia. Why aren't you bitter? I am not exactly sure why it never occurred to me to be bitter, but I am pretty sure that whatever my outlook was, it had a lot to do with having hope. Because I believe that hope is inspirational. That if you are dealing with tough circumstances in the world and you are mired down, just beaten to the ground, and you can't see any way out and you have no idea about how to change things, your spirit can be broken. And then without regard to how much you know or how much is inside of you, you can just lose your way. But If, on the other hand, you can summon hope from the friends that you know, and from leaders in your community who spur you on, and from people, sometimes strangers, who say you did a good job, if you can summon hope, you may be able to change everything. And so that is somewhat of the story of my life.
Thomas shared his instructions to a JMU class earlier in the day.
One of the things I was telling students in class today as they look out on the current scene is your life is on the record, as the courts would say. The record, of course, is what we work with in the appeals process in court. You go to trial, you put in the evidence, it becomes a record which comes up to the appellate judges, but everything you do in your life is a record, particularly nowadays with the internet. Everything you do is recorded. There is nothing that you can do now that won't stay there. And so that means that as you live your life, you got to live your life as if it's fully on display, because it actually is. You've got to live your life in a manner that you don't say, oops, I forgot, I didn't mean to do that, I was just a kid. You got to think about it all the time, about what you are presenting to the world. And so basically the question is, would I do this in front of my mama? If my preacher was here, would I do this? And if you can't answer those questions yes, then you probably ought not be doing some of the things that you might think that you want to do. And so what we're saying is, have hope, have understanding, have compassion, seek knowledge, spread light.
The former Virginia Supreme Court judge responded to questions from the audience.
How do you think you've been able to kind of share that light with everybody else to better kind of enhance their knowledge and wisdom, especially in your position and kind of status?
All of us should go out and reach out to other people when we get a chance and when we get called to do it. I've never seen it as a problem. I've always been happy if somebody said, I want to hear what you have to say. Normally I'm surprised. I'm thinking, like, well, why? What did I do now? But anyhow, just get out there and do it.
The situation I know is on everyone's mind here, the terrible issues in the office of the governor currently.
I can invoke it as a learning experience for everybody, that there ain't no time that you can do something in your life and make it go away.
In Harrisonburg, Elaine Rackley for Breaking Through News.